Rob Pizzola, professional sports gambler, comes to us courtesy of the Hammer Betting Network. The Hammer produces daily sports betting content for every major North American sport. I wonder if that holds true for table tennis. I have a bunch of friends who are addicted to table tennis gambling. Now that the Hard Rock Bet app is available, apparently, I haven't done it yet, but apparently these table tennis matches in Chechnya, of all places, go off like every 10 minutes. And so it's kind of like a constant stream. I'll ask him in a second. Anyway, the Hammer produces daily sports betting content for every major North American sport. Visit thehammer.bet or go to YouTube, search the Hammer HQ, and you should definitely follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Mark.
Do you guys do table tennis?
Okay. You did the ad read, and it's like they cover every major North American sport. I wonder if they cover table tennis as if it's some sort of major sport that
Fair
everyone's
point.
following.
There is a qualifier in there, which is major. Yeah.
Major. Correct. I did bet table tennis a lot during COVID because there was not much else going on. And a lot of these online sportsbook sites did have live streams of the events as well. It was very interesting, but I can say that my passion for table tennis post-COVID has died off.
Interesting.
What about, not a joke, I know it's going to sound stupid, but what about pickleball? Do you see that? Maybe not with the Hammer, but just in general, it's growing in popularity. It's on TV now. Do you see that picking up steam in the betting area?
I don't know about the betting area. So pickleball is definitely picking up steam. Everyone I know plays pickleball now. The problem is ESPN has aired pickleball. I've watched this before. It is the worst viewing experience imaginable. I cannot think of something worse to watch and wager on than pickleball. It just doesn't have any. When you're playing it, you think all these things you're doing are like these extremely athletic maneuvers. You're flying all over the place. When you watch someone do this, you're like, oh, that's really what's going on. He's just like reaching to his right and
it's a very small court. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really translate to good viewability, in my opinion. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone who loves pickleball, but I've played. I really enjoy it. I just can't stand watching it, and I don't think I could. I don't think it's ever going to be like a major betting experience.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever wagered on, where you've said to yourself after the wager, like, "Oy, like that was shameful. Why did I do that?"
I was about 21 or 22 years old. And I used to produce radio, and I used to work the late night shift. So I was in school, and I would leave school at 5:00 and go to the radio station for the night shift. And I would be there from 7 till 3 every day. And I used to produce a late night show called Sports Rage, where the host is a degenerate gambler, and he'd bet on everything. And I kind of fell down that path at that time. When games are over, all the baseball games are done, 1 p.m. Eastern time. There's nothing else to go. You're going through the accounts. Like, what can I wager on? I wagered on the last digit of the closing price of the Nikkei stock index.
Well, you have 1 in 10 chance, right?
Yeah, except you're not being offered those as the odds.
Right.
They're offering you much worse odds than the 1 in 10. But I did wager that, and I won. I proclaimed I was wagering that on air. I won that wager. And that basically accelerated my career about a year forwards, because I was the guy that could pick the final digit on the Nikkei stock index.
That is amazing. What a great story. That is the holiday story that I've been waiting for. You thought you'd heard them all. There's a heartwarming holiday story by the fireplace. Rob Pizzola is in Toronto. Were you at the Panthers Maple Leafs game last night by any chance?
I was not. I was downtown, but I did not go to the game. I play basketball on Tuesday nights. I'm a slender man with some height who lives in a community with a lot of short Italian guys. So I get to play center at basketball. I never miss that. I'm just swatting. You don't get that opportunity as just like a 6 foot tall guy or whatever. So I have some fun with that. But I got a push alert on my phone, and while I was playing, that said final score: Panthers 2, Leafs 1. I was like, I announced it to everyone. I'm like, Leafs lost again in a shootout. And then I go home, and my wife's like, oh, you see the end of that Leafs game? And I'm like, no, we lost again. She's telling me what happened. I still don't even know. I've watched that shootout attempt like 10 times. I still don't know what was called. Like I've watched hockey my whole life. I've never seen that called before. But yeah, the Leafs get the dub, much needed dub for Toronto. Sorry, Florida fans. That's a once in a lifetime loss right there.
It was crazy. I turned it off. My wife and I were watching on the balcony, and I turned it off and flipped over to the Heat game to watch the end. I had this 4-way parlay that I needed Duncan Robinson to hit another 3. And I see on Twitter, this is like 7 or 8 minutes later, one of the local news anchor down here had tweeted out, Panthers won, ... until they didn't. And I was like, what? What did I miss? Because it was a weird shot by Evan Rodriguez there at the end. Like it looked like it took longer. But I thought they were celebrating it. Like I thought it was over. So I had actually turned it off, and I didn't even see Toronto. I didn't see them reassemble, and I didn't see the game winner.
But like the Panthers players came out of the ice, celebrated, and went to the dressing room, and then were basically told like, yeah, you got to come back out. This game's not done. People were leaving the arena. Like imagine paying for a ticket. Tickets in Toronto are expensive to go see a hockey game. It's not. A lot of Toronto fans love to travel to the U.S. to see the Leafs play because they can get a hotel and a ticket for cheaper than they can get a ticket to a Leafs game in Toronto. But people are leaving the arena because they thought the game was over. Imagine just like being out, you're outside now, and then all of a sudden you find out, well, the Leafs actually won afterwards, and you missed the rest of the shootout. I don't know. It was just a weird happenstance, but it's a once in a lifetime thing, just like Greg Popovich telling his fans to stay quiet. Once in a lifetime.
Don't get Putin started over here on that. I mean,
you mentioned Chechnya off the top, and I was wondering if Solana had some info on table tennis.
He's got inside info there. Did you see the Panthers game? Just because you're the biggest hockey fan we always talk to. Although Doug Plagan's going to join us in the 4:00 hour from Montreal. Did you see the Panthers-Ottawa game on Monday night? Because I had never seen a ref before, but I don't watch hockey as much as you do. I'd never seen a ref before say anyone who's on the ice gets a 10-minute misconduct.
There's some of the stuff that's happening in pro sports now with the officiating. It actually boggles my mind. I bet Florida in that game. Didn't watch a second of it. That was the one they won 5-0, right?
5-0,
right?
Yeah.
And they scored early, and I'm just refreshing my phone. And the entire time I'm refreshing, I'm just seeing Ottawa power play. They had to kill off like a double minor for high sticking in the early going. My only recollection of that game was I just kept checking and seeing Ottawa power play, but Florida kept scoring. So that was good. But no, it's insane now. Some of the stuff that's happening in pro sports is nuts, man. Like you bet on sports and you understand that there's like going to be some variance associated with that. There's some randomness, but then you just add in the officiating on top of it. And who knows what's going to happen nowadays. Hockey's bad. But like, don't even get me started on the NFL. The NFL, it's like they make up the rules as they're going to go along. If it's close, play stands. We all have eyes. We can see you can overturn this. Everyone can see this should be overturned. Let's overturn it. But it's like this old boys club of like, we're going to stick with the call on the field. It's pretty rough to bet on sports now.
All right, let's get an NFL pick in here before we run out of time. Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites in Washington on Sunday.
So there's a lot of historical precedence to bet large underdogs at home. This has been something for decades now that hits at like a 60% clip. It's not like anything crazy. Washington technically falls into that category. However, I love the matchup for Miami's offense. Like I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched Dallas, Washington on Thanksgiving. It's no secret Washington was trading away pass rushers at the trade deadline. They can't rush the quarterback. Their secondary is horrible, and they play a lot of man coverage, which is like music to the Dolphins' ears because Tyreek and Waddle just destroy man coverage regularly. So the one thing you got to watch for in this game, as in a lot of the games on the East Coast this week, is you could have like some torrential downpours in some of these games. So keep an eye on that. But if the weather looks not bad, even if it's light rain, it's a high total for 2023 NFL, but I actually like the over in the game. It's been bet up to 50. I think the Dolphins are going to score well into the 30s comfortably here. Washington is actually a pretty potent offense when they're coming from behind. Jalen Phillips' injury matters for Miami as well. So I like the over in this game. Miami's played this game like 5 times before this year. And I think it's probably going to end in a similar fashion with Miami kind of naming their score on offense and then whether or not they play good enough defense to get the cover.
Too late to bet on Miami future on something, win the AFC, win the Super Bowl? Have the odds just come to a place where it's just not worth it anymore?
No, I don't think so. I think some people get caught up in that and they'll be like, I could have bet 20-1 3 weeks ago and now it's only 10-1. So should I bet it or whatever? Miami's very live to win this year. And in fact, I would argue that this is as good a time as ever to actually bet Miami futures because you have two things that are happening. One, the Jalen Phillips injury, the market is kind of down on Miami. It's like, can they recover? Do they have a good enough defense to win the Super Bowl? He's an impactful player, but don't get me wrong. It's not going to make or break the Super Bowl for them all around. And number two, they're a 9.5-point favorite this week. So the likelihood that their odds are going to get worse for you to bet next week are low. It's very, very likely they're going to win the game. So I don't think it's a bad time. And honestly, the AFC's wide open. There's no runaway in the AFC right now. People thought it was going to be KC. It's not. The Bills aren't even in the playoffs. Like Baltimore is your best team, market rating wise. They mess around a lot. Do the Ravens as well? So no, take out a ticket on the Dolphins if you think that there's still value. I think this is a good time to bet them.
Real quick, because we're going to run out of time, I'll give you a couple of conference championship games. SEC championship is Georgia, Alabama. Georgia's a 6-point favorite.
Nothing here for me. I make the game 6.5 for Georgia. I haven't liked Alabama all year. They pull out a lot of these close wins where they're not statistically that good. Georgia just, to me, is way more complete. People are talking about the motivation for Alabama. If they win, there's a chance at national championship. I just don't see it happening. So it's Georgia or nothing, but I did not bet this game.
And then how about the ACC championship? FSU, 2.5-point favorite over Louisville.
I like Louisville a bit. I haven't bet Louisville either yet. I probably will. The one thing for me is that Florida State, as good as their defense is, they give up a lot on the ground. And Louisville's a team that can take advantage of that. Florida State doesn't tackle well in the linebacking core. They have an amazing pass defense. But I think Louisville can kind of dictate the pace a little bit, keep Florida State off the field. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know that I will bet it. I'm sorry for the cop-out answer, but I do strongly lean to Louisville in the game.
There you go. Rob Pizzola. Follow him on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. And you can follow The Hammer. They produce daily sports betting content for every major North American sport. That would immediately exclude table tennis. I should have read the words myself. I'm a wordsmith. Visit thehammer.bet or go to YouTube and search The Hammer HQ. Thank you as always, Rob.
Thanks, guys. Good luck with your bets this week.